Have you ever wondered why? Have you ever wondered why you feel happy one moment and sad the next? Have you ever made a decision you later regretted or cried at a movie and not even known why? Today, we are going on an incredible journey inside your brain. It is the place where all your thoughts and feelings are born. It is the most complex machine in the known universe, and it is sitting right between your ears. Your brain weighs about 3 pounds, roughly the size of your two fists put together. But inside that small space, it contains over 86 billion neurons. These tiny cells are constantly firing electrical signals, working like a biological supercomputer. It controls everything you do: breathing, walking, thinking, and every single emotion you have ever felt. Without your brain, you wouldn't be you. To understand the brain, we look at its three main parts. First is the brainstem at the bottom. It is the autopilot that keeps your heart beating and lungs breathing. Second is the cerebellum at the back, which acts like a master coach for your balance and movement. Finally, the cerebrum is the largest part. It is the boss that handles your thinking, speaking, reading, and all of your complex human emotions. Deep inside the cerebrum lives the limbic system. Think of this as your brain's emotional headquarters. This system was formed millions of years ago, long before we learned how to use logic or language. It processes fear, love, anger, and joy. Because it is so old and powerful, your feelings often react much faster than your rational thoughts, making you act before you think. At the heart of the limbic system is a tiny almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. It is your brain's personal security guard or alarm system. The moment you feel threatened, startled, or even excited, your amygdala fires first. It doesn't wait for you to analyze the situation. It reacts in milliseconds to keep you safe from perceived danger, whether it's a real threat or just a scary movie. When the amygdala sounds the alarm, it triggers the fight or flight response. Your brain sends signals to flood your body with energy. Your heart races to pump blood, your muscles tighten for action, and your breathing speeds up. This ancient survival tool helped our ancestors escape predators, and today it's the same feeling you get when you're nervous before a big speech or a test. Now, meet the prefrontal cortex. Located right behind your forehead, this is your rational brain. While the amygdala is emotional and fast, the prefrontal cortex is logical and slow. It helps you plan for the future, solve math problems, and control your impulses. It is the part of you that says, wait, don't send that angry text message. Let's think about this first. Emotions are actually driven by chemistry. When you feel joy, your brain releases dopamine, the reward chemical. Serotonin keeps your mood stable and balanced. Oxytocin is the cuddle chemical released when you hug someone or feel connected. And adrenaline gives you that sudden rush of energy. These chemicals are like a team of messengers constantly telling your body how to feel and react. Every thought is actually an electrical signal traveling through a web of neurons. Each neuron can connect to thousands of others, creating billions of pathways. When you think a specific thought or practice a skill, you are literally strengthening a specific physical path in your brain. This is why things get easier the more you do them. The road in your brain becomes wider and smoother. The most amazing thing about your brain is that it can change. This is called neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a static organ. It is like a muscle that grows and rewires itself throughout your entire life. Every time you learn a new word, a new hobby, or a new habit, your brain physically changes its structure. You are never too old to learn or to change who you are. Your thoughts and feelings are in a constant conversation. If you think negative thoughts repeatedly, your brain builds strong pathways for sadness or anxiety. But if you practice positive thinking, you build pathways for happiness. What you tell yourself every day matters because your brain believes the stories you repeat. You have the power to program your brain toward a more positive life. Memory is how your brain stores your life's story. Short-term memory is like a scratch pad, holding info for just a few seconds. Long-term memory is like a giant library where your childhood, your skills, and your language are stored. The hippocampus is the librarian that decides what is worth keeping. It focuses most on emotional events, which is why you remember your happiest and scariest days most clearly. Sleep is when your brain does its most important work. While you rest, your brain flushes out waste, repairs cells, and organizes the day's memories. It's like a cleaning crew and a filing system working together. This is why you struggle to think or remember things. While a little stress helps you focus, chronic stress is a brain killer. Constant stress floods your system with cortisol. Over time, too much cortisol can actually shrink your hippocampus and weaken your prefrontal cortex. This makes it harder to learn, harder to remember, and much harder to stay calm. Managing stress isn't just about feeling better. It's about protecting the physical health of your brain. You can hack your brain's stress response. Taking one slow, deep breath sends a signal to your brain that you are safe. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which acts like a brake for your stress. It lowers your heart rate and allows your rational brain to come back online. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember that you carry the off switch for stress inside your own breath. What you eat directly affects how you think. Your brain uses 20% of your body's total energy. Foods like nuts, berries, leafy greens, and fatty fish are like high-quality fuel. They provide the antioxidants and healthy fats your neurons need to communicate quickly. Drinking enough water is also vital. Even minor dehydration can slow down your thinking and make you feel grumpy or tired. Intelligence isn't just about math or science, it's also about emotions. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the ability to understand your own feelings and the feelings of others. People with high EQ are better at handling stress and building strong relationships. The best part is that EQ is a skill you can practice. It starts with simply naming your emotion. I feel frustrated right now. We are wired for connection. Your brain contains mirror neurons that fire when you see someone else experiencing an emotion. If you see a friend crying, your brain reacts as if you are feeling that sadness too. This is the biological basis for empathy. It allows us to understand each other and live together in communities. Kindness doesn't just help others, it actually makes your own brain healthier. Creativity isn't a special gift, it's a brain state. When you let your mind wander or daydream, your brain enters the default mode network. In this state, your brain connects random ideas that it wouldn't normally link together. This is why your best ideas often come in the shower or while walking. Giving your brain time to do nothing is actually one of the best things for creativity. In our world of distractions, focus is a superpower. When you focus on one task without interruption, you enter a state of flow. In flow, your prefrontal cortex is fully engaged and time seems to disappear. Every time you check your phone, you break that flow and it can take your brain over 20 minutes to get back into that deep state. Learning to focus is training your brain to work at its peak. Habits are the brain's way of saving energy. Once an action becomes a habit, the brain moves it to a deeper, more automatic area called the basal ganglia. This means you don't have to think about brushing your teeth or driving a car. You can use this to your advantage by intentionally repeating good behaviors until they become automatic brain programs. It takes time, but your brain is built for it. Did you know your gut is often called your second brain? It has its own massive network of neurons and produces most of your body's serotonin. There's a constant conversation happening between your stomach and your head through the vagus nerve. This is why you get butterflies in your stomach when you are nervous. Keeping your gut healthy with good food is a direct way to keep your mind happy. One of the most powerful ways to rewire your brain is through gratitude. When you look for things to be thankful for, you're training your brain's scanning system to look for the positive instead of the negative. Over time, this changes your default mood. Just writing down 3 good things that happened today can measurably lower stress and increase happiness in your brain after just 3 weeks. Humans are social animals. Isolation and loneliness are actually interpreted by the brain as physical pain. Spending time with people you love and trust releases oxytocin, which acts like a protective shield against stress. Having deep, meaningful conversations and laughing with friends is literally medicine for your brain. We need each other to keep our minds healthy, balanced, and strong. If you are a teenager, your brain is in the middle of a massive construction project. The emotional part of the brain is fully developed, but the rational prefrontal cortex won't be finished until you are about 25. This is why teens feel emotions so intensely and sometimes take big risks. It's not a flaw. It's a necessary stage of growth where the brain is learning how to be independent and creative. As we get older, our brains change. While we might get slower at learning new technology, our brains get better at big picture thinking and emotional control. This is what we call wisdom. You can keep your brain young by constantly challenging it with new puzzles, social interactions, and physical exercise. The brain is like a garden. If you keep planting new seeds and watering them, it will stay vibrant and healthy. Music has a unique effect on the human brain. It is one of the few activities that activates almost every part of the brain at once. It can trigger powerful memories, lower blood pressure, and even help people recover from brain injuries. Whether you are listening to a favorite song or learning to play an instrument, music is like a full body workout for your neurons. Our brains evolved in nature, not in front of screens. Spending time around trees, water, and fresh air has a measurable calming effect on our brain waves. It reduces the activity in the part of the brain that dwells on negative thoughts. Even a short walk in a park can reset your attention and lower your stress levels. Nature is the original reset button for the human mind. Every night, your brain creates a whole other world through dreams. While we don't fully understand why we dream, many scientists believe it is how the brain processes difficult emotions and practices for future challenges. It's like a safe simulation where you can deal with fears or rehearse life events. Dreams show just how creative and powerful your subconscious mind really is. Mindfulness is simply the practice of being present. It means noticing your thoughts and feelings without judging them. When you practice mindfulness, you strengthen the connection between your rational brain and your emotional brain. You become the observer of your mind rather than a victim of your emotions. This simple awareness is the key to emotional freedom and a peaceful life. Your brain is the most amazing tool you will ever own. It is adaptable, resilient, and always learning. Remember that you are not just a passenger in your brain. You are the driver. Every choice you make, every thought you repeat, and every habit you build is writing the story of your life. Your feelings are valid, your thoughts are powerful, and your potential is truly infinite.